Yankees starting pitcher Domingo German was checked for a foreign substance on Saturday against the Twins. After pitching 3 perfect innings, the umpires claimed it was just an excess of rosin, not any illegal foreign substances, and he was told to wash his hands. German finished with 6 1/3 innings pitched, allowing just 1 run and 3 hits, 0 walks and 11 strikeouts. Now, all of a sudden, Max Scherzer, he was found to have some foreign substance on his finger. Umpire told him to go wash his hand and change his glove. He comes back, they look at his hand, and then they threw him out of the game. Now he is going to be suspended for 10 games. It doesn't make any sense how German wasn't thrown out of the game with the same rosin on his hands, and Max Scherzer was tossed. The same umpire that's thrown out 3 different pitchers. Phil Cuzzi, the umpire of the Mets and Dodgers series, is the same guy that threw out the other 2 pitchers. Maybe it's a coincidence. Max Scherzer did not look happy. I feel bad for the guy. And again, I don't think it has anything to do with the league protecting any Yankees. I know that's what everybody wants to believe. The evil empire, blah, 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 blah. This evil empire hasn't won a championship since 2009. I doubt the league was looking out for Domingo German, the same guy that beat his wife. What I do believe is Max Scherzer did have a foreign substance. It probably was rosin. He said he swore on his kids. And this is why I believe baseball should figure it out when the new CBA comes up. They shouldn't be throwing guys out of the game if they find a foreign substance. They should take a sample of the rosin or whatever it is on their finger. They don't throw them out of the game. Then they do tests on it. And if it is an illegal substance on the list of illegal substance that baseball has put on for pitchers to know that they can't use, then they should be suspended, not for 10 games. They should be suspended for 2 games of their starts. Get caught a second time, it should be 4 games. If they get caught again, 6 games. One way or another, it should make sense for the league to protect themselves and for the pitcher not to get in trouble during the game. So I think it makes more sense that way than what they're doing right now, Speedy.
Yeah, it definitely is a bad look for baseball the way it starts. It's a message for baseball, too, that you want to be harsher on these checks, but at the same time, you're also going to make it seem like, all right, maybe Max Scherzer getting suspended could create a new light to maybe avoid these types of substances. But at the same time, somebody like Domingo German coming back into the game, that's going to encourage some of these new substances to come out. And I think that's what I'm worried about with this new rule. And there's going to be substances that aren't going to be found. And that's why you're saying it. Like, if you don't know what the substance is, you can't necessarily throw them out of the game. But at the same time, it's also going to encourage more pitchers to try to cheat too. And you're going to get all these other things that are end up being caught. Because, yes, maybe Domingo German is not going to be as well known of a name. All right, you're going to throw him out of the game. But somebody like Max Scherzer, that's a significant thing to the Mets start, too. And Max Scherzer, again, you have to have no suspicion of doubt by any means, especially with the state the Mets' current starting rotation is. So him getting thrown out of the game, they didn't end up winning the game, but that's something that's not going to be sustainable long term either.
Shohei Ohtani wants out of the Angels organization. If the Angels are not in playoff contention, I don't know where he's going to go. I know Met fans think that that's where he's heading because of Uncle Stevie's pockets. A lot of Yankee fans think he could be going to the Yankees. And there are stories coming out that the Yankees might be interested in him. As we heard Aaron Judge say, they would love him and welcome him with open arms. Everybody would welcome him with open arms, a talented pitcher that he is and hitter that he could add to that lineup. I don't know what an organization like the Angels are going to do when it comes to this point at the trade deadline. I could believe one thing and one thing only. He is going to be traded to a team that has a very deep farm system. So the Yankees are not going to trade Dominguez or any of their youngsters. I don't believe the Mets have a good enough farm system to trade for Shohei Ohtani. So it's not going to be any of the New York teams. I could see the Dodgers doing it. They have a ton of prospects. I could see the Padres doing it if they decide to part ways with Soto. Maybe he's added into that trade to bring in a guy like Ohtani. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting story. I do believe Ohtani will be going elsewhere next year. I just don't know if any team is going to be willing to rent this guy out for a couple of weeks and the playoffs, including the Dodgers. So I wouldn't bet that Shohei Ohtani is going to be traded at the trade deadline.
Yeah, the Dodgers are really the only chance just because they still have a top 10
Well, why would they do that
system
when they can sign him in the offseason?
That would be the only thing that would be the only thing that they have the leverage of because they also did not make a lot of big money moves this offseason too. So I don't know if the Dodgers would even be thinking about doing that unless they feel like they could fleece the Angels somehow. I don't know if Brian Cashman's going to want to try to push all those prospects
He's
out.
not doing
the Mets definitely can't afford to do that unless they trade all 4 of their hitting prospects plus probably somebody on their major league roster.